Hey foodies, thanks for watching. One of my favorite pastimes is going through recipe books and finding really fun recipes that I want to try making. And one that popped out to me was a coffee caramel cake. And I want to show you how to make it. You want to start by dropping our butter into our mixer. Oh, I need a spatula for that. And it needs to be softened butter. There we go. And just scrape it off the side there. And I've got some superfine sugar. And we're going to beat this with our paddle until it's really light and fluffy. Okay, so I'm going to scrape down the sides just to make sure it all gets mixed in. There we go. And then I'm going to crack my 3 eggs in a separate bowl. And I do this, I'm doing this for 2 reasons. One, because I want to make sure that there's no shells in there. There's 2. But also, because I want to whip it up. So I'll grab a fork. I'll just whip it lightly. And I'm going to add approximately 1 of the eggs, or 1/3 of the mixture, in. And we're going to mix that up. Okay. And let's add a little bit more. And the last bit of egg. And just before I turn it on again, I'm just going to make sure that all that butter is scraped down the sides. Try and get it off my spatula. And we're going to mix it up. Okay, next we're adding our gluten-free all-purpose flour. And today I'm using Frankie's gluten-free all-purpose flour. It works cup for cup with everything that I throw at it. And I'm adding my extra strong coffee. We're going to gradually mix this in. And then I'm going to turn it up to high. That looks and smells so good. Okay, so scrape off my paddle. Go away. Scrape the walls down. Just make sure that it's all well mixed before we start dividing this into our 2 8 or 9 inch cake pans. So I've gone ahead and put in some parchment paper, and I put a dab of butter in the bottom just to make the parchment paper stick, and then I've greased the inside walls so that it's easy to get them out. So let's put half in each, roughly. And they are not going to take long to bake. Oh, this smells so good. There we go. Okay, and we're going to spread this out. These look good. So these are going to go into a preheated oven of 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for, the recipe said 30 minutes. I think it's going to be closer to 10. I'm going to let you know how long it takes. See you in a moment. So while the cake is in the oven, let's make the frosting. We want to add our butter to a pan and our milk. And we'll just put that on low heat just to let it melt. And while that's doing that, I'm going to turn on the other burner and I'm going to add my superfine sugar on medium heat, and I want to melt this down. And I'm going to stir that constantly. Until it gets a nice, deep, caramel-looking color. Okay, so this has melted the sugar, and my butter and milk mixture has melted. So I'm going to add my caramelized sugar. Oh, that's a little frightening. There we go. Oh, that goodness. I'm going to give it a stir. And then I'm going to put it all into another bowl. Just like that. And then I'm going to gradually add in my confectioner's sugar. So I'm going to drop in a little bit and mix it in. So I'm just going to let that cool down a little bit. I'm going to let the cake finish baking and cool, and then we're going to put it together. I'll see you in a moment. Just like that, it was 10 minutes. They didn't rise a whole heck of a lot. I'm actually really surprised at that, but they smell incredible. I can smell like brown butter and caramel notes, and it just smells so good. So let's put this together. I've got a nice plate here. I've got some decorations. I'm just going to lift that up, set that there. I'm going to move this over to the side, and we're going to grab our icing. I'm going to put a big glob of it down in the middle. Maybe a little bit more, because why not? And then I'm going to use a small offset. I'm just going to spread it out. Look at that, I might need more icing. Yeah, let's get a little bit more icing. One more blob. There. It's more than enough. I want to make sure I have enough icing for the top and the little tiny side I'm going to get. Look at that, I had extra icing. There we go. Okay. Now we take the other piece and lay it right on top. Looking good. And we take the rest of the icing. I don't think I'm going to need it all, but it's icing. You gotta have lots of icing. Okay. Let's spread this out. See if I can get a little bit down the edge, or the side, I should say. Look at that. Okay, and then in the picture, they just drew little lines. Actually, let's smooth this out a little bit more. Let's use the large offset. Okay, so they just drew score lines. In the whole cake. Add some simple decoration. And there. Okay. And then I've got some chocolate covered coffee beans, because it's a caramel coffee cake. And I find doing odd numbers is always nice. Maybe just a few more individual ones. One or two. Let's do two. There we go. I think with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, that would be great, especially when a guest comes over. So let's cut into it and see what it's like. The slice is lovely. And I'm going to do just a nice size piece. And then, oh, look at that. Doesn't that look beautiful? Well, the inside of the cake looks great. Yeah, that is a beautiful looking cake. Oh, I'm certainly glad already that I've made this. Let's see if it holds up to its taste for its look. The icing is sticky. Oh, that icing is really nice. It's not overly sweet. It's interesting, when I was making it on the stove, I was like, that's a lot of liquid for the little amount of icing, powdered sugar or icing sugar we're using. But it's turning out really nicely. I'm glad that I almost browned the butter in the cake itself. The whole thing is delicious. And though it's not a coffee cake, it's a coffee cake. So if you're looking for the recipe, you can visit glutenfreeguy.ca. You can also follow me on any of these social media channels. And coming up next is this. Thanks for watching.